So should I start? Yeah? Okay. Hi everyone, welcome to my presentation. My name is Elnaz Delpisheh and I'm going to present text analytics and data visualization. So data, basically data analytics or data is the oil for the future. Well, during my presentation, I will tell you why that's the oil of the future and what are some of the applications of data analytics. And my presentation is mostly focused on text analytics. Text is a sort of data, so I will focus on text. So, well, let me talk about some really big companies that deal with a lot of data, like Walmart. Every day you go shopping, you make a lot of transactions. Well, you buy perhaps bread, milk, and some other items from Walmart, and they have this big data center about your shopping habits, not only yours, but a lot of people around you. So what is this big data center useful for? Well, one of the things that this amount of, you can imagine every day a lot of people go and buy things from Walmart, so they have a lot of information saved about people in the world. So one of the really good usages of that information is basically they know how to shelf their items in a store, in a big store. For example, they know that people who buy milk tend to buy cheese as well, so they put them close to one another. So this is one application of it, so they know how to shelf items. Well, people, and they will also know your shopping habits. They know that, okay, you are a person who buy a lot of, let's say, dairy products. So they can, based on that, they can send you ads related to dairy products, their promotions, or any sort of related ads. So that's very useful just for advertising purposes. So one of the other aspects that I want to discuss, it's so my presentation is sometimes about data analytics and sometimes about data visualization. So this one is about data visualization. So Canada's population is around 35 million, more than 35 million, and now we want to know how this population is distributed. So I can tell you, okay, there is this amount of data in, there is this amount of people in Ontario, this amount of people in other provinces. But when you look at this picture, it's really, it tells you, well, this one is from 2000, well, it's until 2013, but still Ontario contains a lot of, actually, yeah, most population. So this picture is worth basically 1,000 words. So instead of me talking about number of people in different provinces, you can just look at it and say, okay, Ontario contains more people, so this is the most populated province. So that's Ontario and, let's say, Quebec, and also, well, BC. Well, there are three most populated provinces. So that's why visualization is more important. So then I don't have to really discuss the number of people in these provinces. So you can just look and say, okay, yeah, I know how this population is basically distributed. Now, the data, like in Walmart that I discussed, or population, is either numbers or tables, so it's very structured. But now I want to discuss unstructured data. Data that basically there is no structure in it, like texts, tweets, emails, insurance claims. Well, data that contains a lot of text, maybe pictures, maybe numbers, and they are in no structure. Like you tweet about something, there is no really structure on it, or other sort of, or newspaper articles. Well, they have different sort of data all together in one piece of paper, so that's unstructured data. It is really, really important to be able to analyze unstructured data, because firstly, 90% of world's data is unstructured. So, and this amount of data is growing, well, with the growth of social media and other sources of unstructured data, it is really important to basically create a tool to be able to analyze this amount of information automatically. So we need to organize, search, and understand this amount of data. So one way to do that, well, for example, you have this many books. So in order to understand this data, well, one way is basically to go through each book one by one, starting from the first and start reading it and then understand it and then go to the next one. Well, this is not probably maybe feasible for the amount of data that is available, and you don't have time for it perhaps. So we need tools to basically do it for us so that they tell us, for example, in this library, in this like bookshelves, like this shelf is about these topics and mostly, for example, about psychology and mostly about like children's psychology and so forth. So, so this automatic analysis is very important. One of the applications, I'm going to talk about different applications of unstructured data analytics or text analytics, is when you want to buy something, a camera or an item, basically. So what you do, especially if you're in computer science or software development, so you will go on internet and read people's reviews. So reviews are unstructured data. So you will basically, if you have a lot of time and, well, you will go through all the reviews and read them and understand them and then decide. But if there's a tool to do that for you, the tool to tell you what reviews are positive about a product and what reviews are negative about a product, that would be awesome. So these tools are really necessary. I'm gonna basically, other applications that I earlier discussed is social media, that people, there's a statistics that from 1 out of every 7 people on Earth are on social media, and they tweet or they have their Facebook profile. So they leave some information about themselves on the internet. And the more active you are on internet, well, people know more about you and you get more relevant advertisement perhaps. Or, so it's very important to have this technique to basically analyze that. Well, there are a lot of companies that they use this information for different things. For example, to predict, they go through Twitter and they predict who is going to be the next president of some countries based on people's opinions. So, well, I will have one example in my slides about it. So, well, talking about Twitter, one of the really most popular social media websites, where whenever something is happening around the world, well, people start tweeting about it. Some people are more active in Twitter than other people. Some people have more followers than other people, so it means that those people are really great influencers. So if you have a lot of followers, so it means that when you post something, people are going to probably accept it or retweet that comment. So that will be basically distributed around the world really faster than a person who is not basically an influencer. So if you have more followers, then you are a big influencer and your idea really matters because you can influence a lot of people. So that's really important, and maybe advertising companies use that information in order to advertise their products. So one of the really interesting applications of tweet analysis was during the Israel and Gaza war, where there was, there were a lot of tweets around the world, and so data scientists decided to basically analyze these tweets and see who's, what sort of like who is basically pro-Israel and who is pro-Gaza. So, well, there were a lot of basically tweets. For example, I'm going to explain what this picture is about. The ones that are green are basically they represent that they're pro-Gaza, and the ones that are blue pro-Israel, and the one that is in the middle is mostly, well, neutral kind of thing. So they are not pro any political stream. So they are, well, that's really interesting because you will see that, well, you will see based on the tweets that people, those influencers publish, they can really influence a lot of people around the world, and that's how they can really distinguish the news broadcasters from one another, and that's just by analyzing their tweets. So there are tools that will help us do that. So I'm going to explain some of them at the end of my talk. One of the other applications, apart from Twitter, is enhancing word search. So for example, well, you use Google probably most of the time, and you search an item on Google, let's say text mining. So Google brings a lot of results for you, but well, how does that Google work? How do they know that what results are more related to your query? So your query contains many texts, keywords. So basically Google should go through all the available pages on Earth and find the ones that are related to your query. So how do they do that? Well, that's text analytics or data analytics. So they analyze that, and they analyze that vast amount of data, and they pick the ones that are related to your query and represent it to you. So you will see that usually the first 4 or 5 links are the most related links to your query. So that's one of the applications of text analytics. The other one that maybe most of you are familiar with is Siri. So basically you talk to Siri, and well, that's text that you produce, and it will analyze. So there's an algorithm behind it to analyze it and then reply to you. I know Siri is not maybe interactive enough. It's not actually interactive. It doesn't ask you questions, and it doesn't really provide answers to you. So that's this field of interactive question answering system is really growing because they want to go towards that interactive question answering system. That is ideal, but unfortunately it hasn't happened yet. But they're going towards that direction. So another one is security for example, your emails. When you receive emails, some of them are good emails from family, some of them are spams, fraud. So you want to have a good system in your email to basically detect which email is a spam, which one is good, which one is from family and friends, and so forth. So that is done also by data analytics, or text analytics. So it goes through the email, and it finds basically, okay, these words are perhaps spam words, so they will put it in your spam folder. Another application is for recommendation systems that I earlier discussed. Well, you leave a lot of posts on the internet, on your weblog, on Facebook, and based on that, you receive recommendation. If you're a person who is into sports, you probably receive a lot of advertisements related to sports and so forth. So that is one of the other applications. So now I want to talk about some of the softwares that are used, not softwares, let's say, some of the analysis techniques used for those applications. Then I will discuss those open source softwares that are available for that. One of them is sentiment analysis. That's a really interesting field. And there are open source tools available for it. It's really simple. I will show you one of them that you just put your text there, and it tells you if your text is positive, negative, or neutral. So that's very interesting. Well, firstly, sentiment analysis or opinion mining. It will analyze your text, and it will tell you if your text is positive, negative, or neutral. So that's really important. For example, if you have a lot of data about people's tweets or people's comments about a certain candidate for presidency, then you will find out, okay, people are really positive about this person, or people are negative, or people are neutral about it. So this is one of the applications for it. Another one is, for example, if you want to pick a vacation, and then you will read people's reviews on that certain location, then you will see, or a certain hotel, then you will find, okay, if people's reviews are positive, negative, or neutral. So that's called sentiment analysis. So in my presentation, I will show you a website, a very useful open source website that you can just download and use. It's a Python-based website, so you can find if text or sentences are positive, negative, or neutral. So, well, I'm gonna explain also another aspect of text visualization using texts from the Globe and Mail. Well, I was in the data science group in Globe and Mail for a period of time, and I did some experiments on their data and newspaper, and I'm gonna show you the results of it, and also the tools that I used. So, for example, given this text, just one paragraph of newspaper, the goal is to find the themes of the text, the themes or topics of the text. So the reason that that is important is, for example, they want to know, they publish perhaps 20 or 30 or 100 articles today, and they want to know what is the trending topic of the published articles. Maybe for today's, well, I haven't read the newspaper today, but let's say if it is about baseball, or if it is about other important news on, well, today. Let's say last week it was about election, 2 weeks ago it was about election, and so forth. So they want to know the trending topic. So they were really interested to know what is the topics of their basically newspaper articles. So there are 3 different techniques that I'm going to explain to find the topics. Firstly, word frequency, then text clustering, and then topic modeling. Topic modeling is the best of them. I will explain the basic one, which is word frequency. So they use, well, not them, they use topic modeling, of course, but this is just I wanted to introduce a basic tool to do this basically topic representation. So there's a tool, Wordle, maybe you have used it. So you just put your text there, and based on the frequency of the words in the text, it will create you this word cloud. So, so the more frequent a word is, that word is going to appear bigger. So firstly, well, this is good. Maybe if you look at this piece of text, you will say, okay, maybe this text is about education, and also about young people and tax, and maybe Ford and Toronto. So this is like, it's not very descriptive, so you finally don't know what this text is about exactly. Is it tax or education or Ford? So it's kind of, so this was for 2013, that's why you will see Rob Ford a lot. So yeah, so the text, because I was there about 2 years ago, that's why. So, so this is not very descriptive. So word cloud is good, but for like basic works, but not for real work. And also if you have a lot of data, because you don't have one piece of article, you probably have thousands of articles for newspapers, or maybe millions of them. So this word cloud is not good. So what about text clustering? So text clustering basically clusters the text into different categories based on the sentences that appear in the text. So given that sentence, so there are tools to do text clustering that I will explain at the end of my presentation. So using one of the tools, you will come up with these 3 categories. Okay, one is about tax, one is about mayor, one is about youth. Okay, this is good. We know that this piece of text has 3 main topics. But the problem is that some of these sentences appear in different basically categories. For example, there's nothing like an education about money while you're still young. So it can be about money, it can be about youth, it can be about education. So it's kind of not, we are not really sure what category this sentence belongs to. So, so that's why text clustering is not good, because sometimes some sentences can belong to different categories. Text clustering is not strong enough to cover that. That's why there's a new approach to do that categorization. That is called topic modeling. Topic modeling was emerged in 2004 by people in the University of Princeton. They basically, it's a statistics method to find, to discover hidden topics of text documents. Well, you give them text documents, and they will tell you what are the topics of text documents and how these topics are basically distributed in that document. For example, a book, like a programming book, could be about programming, could be about data structure, could be about maybe computers, hardware. Usually a book has different topics. So using topic modeling, it tells you how many, look, for example, this book is 50% about programming, 10% about hardware, 10% about data structure. So it really tells you different, like the probability distribution of topics. So that's a very good technique, because we cannot say, okay, this book is only about programming. No, that's not true. Usually books contain a lot of different topics that are covered in. So that's a good tool. It's the most recent one, and people try to basically improve it using different methods. So I'm gonna show you some of the results that I experimented on the Globe and Mail newspaper. Well, they gave me their newspaper from 2004 till 2013. Well, I will double check the date. So there were about more than 140 million documents. So different newspaper articles for the last decade. And they wanted to analyze it and see what are the most popular topics, and also how these topics changed throughout time, the topic trends. So this is the first result. Well, I'm just presenting 4 popular topics. Well, I actually discovered that there are like 100 popular topics, but for the sake of this presentation, I just show 4 of them, like about tax, children, education, and mayor. Well, I know under mayor, there is like crack word, unfortunately. So basically, yeah, that was quite interesting. That so for each topic, well, each topic, as you see, is represented by words. So based on those words, you can pick, based on these words, you can pick a good topic label. So, and also I used word cloud just to show different topics of, like just 4 top topics of Globe and Mail newspaper. And also this one shows that, for example, document 1, article 1, D1 means document 1 or article 1, like one article. There are about 140 million articles. I'm just showing for 4 articles. Like the first one has like topic 3. This is the distribution of topics for each document. Like this document 1 has a lot of topic 3. So topic 3 was education. So this document is mostly about education. This document 2, but this one is mostly about topic 4, which is, okay, topic 4 is mostly about mayor, for example. So basically this distribution is very useful, so we know how these topics are distributed for each article, for each newspaper article. And also one really interesting thing, this chart is from 2009 to 2014. So this one shows how these topics evolved through time. You can see that, well, I use just topic modeling for this, and I analyze the data. So like topic tax was, well, very popular here, which is around February, and so forth. So you can see that, you can see how topics change through time. And that's really interesting, because when I was working with them, some topics really faded away very soon. Like maybe they were popular for one day and not the day after that, like especially news from Middle East were not very popular. They would just disappear after one day, but some news about sports, they were really popular and they stayed on top most of the time. That was really interesting. So they can really, a lot of advertising companies can use that. So if they want to advertise their products, they know that, okay, these news articles are really popular among people and they stay on top. They are trending all the time. So yeah, let's do advertising using them. And also we did another analysis. We compared this one with Google Trends because they wanted to know if their editors are really doing a great job as the Google. So that was just a comparison. And also what I I also designed a recommender system for them. So basically, how it works, just using text analytics. So they publish a lot of newspaper articles every day. And you are the user if you subscribed. Well, I just work with subscribed users. So if you subscribe, you read certain articles every day. So you are creating this user profile for yourself. And your information is saved there. So we know that, okay, you are interested in news about sports. And these are the news that are published every day. So I discovered the topics that each user was interested in and created that user profile for them. For example, user A is interested in sports and fitness and health and so forth. And these are the news articles that are published. So I discovered the topics of these articles as well and did matching. Just using those topic models. So I know the topics that you are interested in and the topics that the Globe publishes. And based on that, I did some recommendations. So say, okay, among these articles, so these 3 can be recommended to you. So next time when you log in, so these 3 articles will be recommended to you. So that's, I did that just using topic modeling. I discovered the topics that the user is interested in, created that user profile, just by analyzing the texts and topic modeling approaches and the topics that Globe publishes every day, and just did one matching. So, okay, this was one of the applications of my work in Globe and Mail. And I just want to go through some of the open source tools that you can use for text analytics. This one is Mallet. So this is a Java-based package for statistical natural language processing, document classification, clustering, and so forth. I think I have the website open here. Oh, okay. Sorry. I will have to, yeah. So I think I will have to do Windows. Okay. Okay. So I'm trying to just share this window with you. Okay, so it's here. So basically, this is an open source tool. You can download the package, and they have really nice tutorials that you can just go through and just do maybe topic modeling. So it tells you, I use it mostly for topic modeling. Their tool is really good for that. So you can just use it or maybe improve topic modeling. So that's Mallet. So that's the first tool that I wanted to introduce. And the other one is NLTK. That is a Python-based tool that you can use it for basically text processing, tokenization, and for sentiment analysis. Let's use that. So I'm gonna, I actually have the window open here. Oops. Okay. So this is NLTK. Well, you can, I picked one piece of text from some news resources. Well, I have it open here. I can show you the text. Well, I didn't want to read this text. I just wanted to know if it is positive, negative, or neutral. Okay, this is the text that I used. So, well, that's a text. So I just copied and pasted it. So this is this website has this demo available, but you can also download it and use it for larger amounts of text. So this is the demo. So I pasted the text over here, and I hit analyze, and basically, well, you can see the results here. So this, oh, okay. I just hit analyze again, that's fine. So it tells you if the text is positive. Well, it is positive, and it tells you, okay, 0.9% of the text is positive, 0.1 negative, and well, so that's really important, especially if you want to basically pick a camera or just go over people's reviews to know if they're positive, negative. I also analyzed some, well, for one project, I did some analysis on refugees. There was this data set, and unfortunately, most of the text was negative, and I was really amazed at how, well, I didn't want to read the data set because it was so depressing, but with this, you can just see that, like, well, most of the text is, well, negative, unfortunately. And you can find, like, the reason for that, the reason for immigration and so forth. Okay, and the other one is basically TM, text mining package R. That one is also available to download. It's very powerful, it's free, it's like SPSS, but it's free. So you can use a lot of, you can use it for different statistics that you might need in the future for your projects. For text analytics, and the other one, Rapid Miner. Well, these tools that I introduced are not only for text. Well, the first one, only for text, but this one is not only for text. It can be used for any sort of data, like numbers or different kind of data, like pictures, anything. So Rapid Miner is also very useful and very fast. So they have, they're open source, they have their tutorials available, and you can just follow them. And the other one is Gate for text engineering. I have actually all of them open here, but that's fine. So you can just go through it. Well, I will ask the organizers if you want. I will post my slides there so you can basically click and find the links. All right, so that's it. If you have any questions, comments. Thank you.
Regarding the privacy act on this, so people do these kind of things. So where does that apply on this? It doesn't apply on this?
Oh, privacy? Yeah, that's a very important thing, especially for like, the case of Flow and Mail. Usually, most of the news is but people's information is encrypted. Well, yeah, they really that's really important. They are mostly encrypted. Yeah, it's a very important privacy. Is really an important issue. Data analytics really an important issue. But they use encryption most of the time. Yeah. Yes.
Do you know if Rotten Tomatoes, the website,
yes.
do they use an automatic system or do they
you will.
Read?
Sorry.
Like, are they deciding based on software whether it says a positive or negative review?
Do they have it? Do they have like positive, negative?
Well, you know how it's like it's either a Rotten Tomato or it's a nice red tomato. So, is there software that's reading that critic's review and deciding, or is it a human being that's?
Well, I don't know how it's designed, but if it just tells you the positive, if it just tells you the sentiment of the text, most likely should be a software, because I don't think people. Well, most likely it is a software to decide if the text is negative or positive. But if you want to analyze that, you should find that data set of all the people's reviews, maybe contact them, or if some of these reviews are available online, you can just search, like for example, reviews. I know that I found some reviews for cars that was available, and I could just analyze it. Maybe some of them are available for movies, but that website most likely have software, but you should be able to.
So language as itself has like a much deeper meaning and a much larger construct. Like it is structured, but not in a way that computers can easily understand. So when you make decisions based off these analytics, like how hard, like what decisions can you and can't you make off text data?
Yeah, that's a very good question. It's, for example, if I tell you a text, for example, she's happy, okay, maybe I can decide that this sentence is positive based on the word happy. But there are certain words, like she's not as happy as she was yesterday. Like this is not really positive, but it has the word happy in it. So it's at this point, it's not really easy to find really the meaning of it, the sentiment of the sentence. So they will have to do some more complex analysis. This is one of them. The other one is emotion detection. That's also very popular to know if the sentence is really happy, sad, or what is the emotion? There are 4 or 5 major emotions that usually scientists want to discover. That's also really hard to really understand, or people understand it better because we use a lot of sarcasm and a lot of different things, but the machine don't. So it's usually you should come up with really good techniques. There are really good techniques out there, but I think they have room to improve. Yes.
Yeah, can you describe more about, tell more about the sentiment analysis technique?
Mhm.
Like how exactly it works, and are there any tools which can determine the attitude of the person towards you, and how accurate they are?
So tools for sentiment analysis, because sentiment analysis, it just tells you if a text is positive, negative, or neutral. You know, what I would do if I would design, like I know most of these are designed based on that, they have a sort of repository for positive words and negative words. So they will find that, okay, in this text, most of the words in this text comes from that positive repository. So this text is mostly positive. But maybe another text, most of the words come from that negative repository words. So this text is negative. And if it is equal, the negativity and positivity, so they said this text is neutral. So this is one of the approaches that they use basically based on word frequency. And so this is, so you had?
Yeah, and the second part is how you, are there any tools which can determine the attitude of the person?
Oh, attitude of the
or
person?
mood of a person when?
Yeah, if you, well, a person with a certain attitude, probably you will have to firstly leave some sort of information from yourself, maybe write some weblogs, or they should have some input from you, maybe from your website or weblog or your Facebook account or your tweets. Yeah, based on that, well, they will collect that information and they can basically understand, okay, well, using different techniques like NLTK, for example, they can find, okay, the attitude of this person is positive, negative.
So there are tests?
Yeah, NLTK, yeah. But the thing is, you have to gather that information first. You have to firstly download Twitter data, for example, or any other sort of data. So it's just finding that information is harder, or maybe just create an app, and just people will download the app and maybe leave comments for your app, or use it for texting, and then they leave just some information about themselves, and maybe you can analyze that data, because I know that a lot of companies do that. They just put the app there, and you use it for maybe rating something, and then later they use this data to do some predictions, or to just decide about you're positive or negative.
Thank you.
Are you familiar with the cognitive computing concept that IBM is pushing with their extension of their platform software from the Jeopardy? Excuse me, when they have cognitive, they have more than like semantic understanding and the ability to match that to a large, conceptual database. And they're calling that cognitive computing.
Yeah, I have heard about it, but I'm not so familiar with how that is implemented.
They do have a website now that essentially you can, it's a sandbox, if you go there. I haven't done anything with it, but I'm sure you can submit some of your text and see what it does with it.
Oh, is it open source?
Yes,
Oh.
well, it's a service that's available on the cloud.
Okay.
If you type in Watson Analytics, I'm sure you'll
Oh, sure.
get to it. In fact, I'll look it up for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it.
And I do have a supplementary question. Why is it you call Siri is not interactive?
It's not interactive because you just sell, okay, I'm looking for a job, like Chinese food. Okay, it tells you, okay, these are the foods available. That's it. So what I call interactive is that you say, okay, I'm looking for Chinese food. So they should ask you, okay, what price range are you looking for? Well, $2 sign, $1 sign, $3 sign. This is what I call interactive. But what Siri does, it just goes probably through your Google map and your location, and then find the nearest restaurants close to you. So it doesn't really do that interaction. I know that. Yeah.
Your presence, by that definition, up to this point, is not an interactive presentation.
This one?
No, you.
Okay.
In talking about all of this, you were not interactive until you asked the questions. Is that the definition?
Yes, that's
I
right.
see.
Yeah.
Pretty narrow.
Yeah, I guess Because I know that I'm familiar with one Japanese app that they are interactive. I forgot the name of the app, but I know that that is interactive. Like you tell them, okay, I'm hungry, and then they ask you, okay, what sort of food do you want? So you say, I want Italian food. Say, okay, what is the price range? This. Do you want like what sort of food? What is the price range? Like this is interaction that I call, yeah. But for Siri, it doesn't really do that.
There are, even back in the 70s, there were early text-based ones
Sure.
that were acting as part of a
Yeah.
psychological, where they would replay back keywords and
Yeah.
keep the conversation going. Oftentimes it was part of the testing to see whether they could produce an interactive conversation.
Sure.
So asking the question, I think, is a very weak definition of interactive, that's all I'm saying.
Sure, yeah, maybe I should say maybe speech recognition, like with speech sort of thing, not only text-based. Maybe that's better.
It's another dramatic dimension. It's okay.
Yes.
What do you think is the next level, like beyond recommendations and sentiment? Where does it go?
Well, okay. I know. I was looking at. There is a conference, KDD conference, Knowledge Discovery and Data Mining conference. That's a top conference in data mining and data analytics. If you follow that conference, they have some really nice video lectures. One of them was on knowledge graphs. I think that's going to be the future, where all the pieces of information are connected to one another through a big graph, and then just searching for information is just through that huge graph. I think knowledge graph is the future.
What was the conference called?
KDD, yeah, knowledge discovery and data mining. Well, that's really related to data. That's a top conference for data mining. So they have really nice video lectures for it. I think that's a trend. Yeah.
I wonder, are you aware of any applications where in the education sector where teachers and professors are using this to evaluate student written texts particularly?
No,
Well,
I
maybe
never.
the people in this room would know the answer.
I know. Yeah, I never used such. I never used this for education purposes. Like, yeah, that would be. I think there should be. I'm not familiar. I never looked for it before. There should be things.
Does anybody in the room know that a prof uses this for your
Well,
technology?
there are analytics that can look at the complexity of words, like complexity of sentences and word diversity, and there are analytics that you could do, but if you like reveal that to students, and you can write complex sentences, and you can just, but it can have no larger meaning than just meeting the threshold of your